Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the Mokanaman at YouTube with a 3D printing video. I've got this humongous bag full of ABS resin and a mechanized kangaroo for a student's uni project. I assisted him in design, giving a few notes. It was drafted on Fusion 360 by Autodesk, printed in an SLA giant industrial 3D printer by Formlabs. And check out all the parts. This is one bundle that makes up an arm. Whoops. And this is a complete arm. Post 3D printing, it has been sanded quite significantly, but it's quite large. My job, after giving a little bit of advice in the design, putting it together, is painting it. Everything snaps together quite nicely, and we'll just be doing a little bit of airbrushing as post sanding has occurred, starting around the 60 to 80 grit sandpaper, and you're working your way up to 1000, 2000. It is beautifully smooth with a bit of micro filling primer, and being a metallic finish, I think paint will stick to it quite nicely and it will come out as a great kit. So I'll cover the work in progress of this project as well as another uni student's quicker project. Only less than a week to finish it all. Woo! And that's taken a while to assemble. It's all done at a whopping half a meter or higher tall, half a meter tall. All snaps together, fully articulated. Pretty impressed how this came out. Very heavy, takes a while to balance and stand. It's meant to have some sort of high heels, so I've made it pretty flat. We'll assemble it and start assigning areas that needs to be painted. But first, primer, and I'll hit it with the super cheap auto blue lid, or pretty much the micro filler. Everything broken down just only for priming, and to see what's visible, what's not visible for painting, to save paint. We are going to lay some primer. Priming away in a box, getting a lot of this large surface done. The other half is drying. You can see where I'm holding it with my hand. A third direction will have to have a spray. Same goes in here. When I pull everything apart into tiny components where white shows, as in areas that's well and truly covered, will be masked off as a point that I can hold it as I'm spraying. I'm not allowed to drill holes. Mounting it is very difficult because this was not designed according to my painting style with resin or 3D printing, and I'm not permitted to glue or modify this. So different tactics have to be applied when painting it for the client's need. So that is all very even coverage, at least on the main visual areas. We'll pull it apart tomorrow once it's fully dried and start masking. All broken up and divided in parts that I'm going to be painting. Didn't have to mask. The beautiful thing is as I'm free shading, free handing everything together, I'll have to colour it in 3 sections as I can't mount. Where it's white, I don't have to paint. Might have to cross shade a bit with black, but no painting. So for this example, this part, just only where the grey is, that's the only bit that needs to be painted. Organised chaos. You can see some bits are partially painted and they're finished. Some bits are partially painted and not finished. For example, you could see where it's primed that still needs to be painted, but where there's practically unpainted plastic will remain the same. It's going to be a bit of effort. The black has been applied and dried sufficiently. Today we have added blue to the corners of the main armour. All the left, the right is gunmetal and all the other metallic colours. Once the blue bit is dry, I'll be able to paint most of it, let that dry, flip it, and we'll start gunmetal as we're waiting for the blue to dry during the next paint session. Started applying the silver, started applying the gunmetal. The blue's all finished, but too dark, so I'm going to have to get the lighter metallic blue and do some highlights. The painting is all done. I have highlighted the blue in a gradient fashion. Doesn't look like much from the camera, but when it's all assembled it all makes sense. Gunmetal on the internal frame. Didn't even use one bottle of my own stuff, so another 2 is put aside for personal use. The client looked at my pictures and said the whole disc has to be painted just in case any of the white does show. I candied the visor orange. Didn't have any orange. This is a light clear brown and it appears to be orange, so I sincerely hope he likes that. And we got the piston. Didn't have time to mask, so that was all free-handed. Gunmetal, steel and gold. Comparing the reference, colours seem about right. Just got to remove the mask in some areas and assemble. Didn't have time to mask. This vent was free-handed. Pretty impressed with that. As well as inside the head gold there, just all about the direction and the strokes. Yesterday I sub-assembled everything once painting is done. The highlights of the lighter blue on the blue armour worked really well. 3 coats of clear holding at 3 different parts in these large pieces worked out quite well. Automotive clear mixed with lac thinner worked really well. Did not frost too badly. It's not the best perfect mirror finish, but it's glossy enough for the job. Luckily it's pretty dark. And you can see all the colour modulation and whatnot. Go down to the final assembly. And here it is, completely assembled, fully articulated and finished. I'm pretty happy how it came out. It's absolutely massive. It's the same as the reference material. If I had a lot more time, I could have probably done a lot better. The material was not too hard to work with. It was sanded a bit once straight out of the printer with the supports and roughs and whatnot removed. If you're looking for very basic shaped detail or not so detailed surfaces, the cost-effective nature of a professional SLA print seems to be very worthwhile. If you're looking for that showroom perfect nice gloss finish, sanding it and putting it further or putting very thick primer and polishing it is definitely a possibility. I could see all the detail jump out really nice. There's no it's not deformed, there's no missing detail, bubbles, any sorts of imperfections anywhere, and the matter of just how strong, tough, solid the plastic is absolutely insane. I suppose to cut down in costs, what you can do is make everything hollow and keep the thickness of the wall around 1 to 2 millimeters. It will make it a lot cheaper, and it's just far too heavy. When I snapped it together, it fell over constantly and I feared paint chipping. Luckily, painting it and allowing paint to build up in some areas, the joints are so tight, it's able to stand on its own weight. And the fact that kudos to the designer that it does stand right now without falling all over the place. Regardless, the design is pretty cool. In the end, it's down to the designer, and it's an assessment for school and whatnot. But for people that really want to design their own mech project, whatever, and send it for a professional print, the opportunity's there. You can see how it comes out. It can be a lot smaller, far more detailed. The resolution is in the sphere of half a micron to a 10th or 20th of a micron, but the amount of fun and playing around you can have with it is just, it's infinite. It's as far as your imagination can go, your CAD skills can go, drawing, all that sort of thing. That all said, done and whatnot, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's a second proportion to the video of a smaller, cheaper 3D printing section. Be sure to check that out. See you later. This is some sort of design project for a university course. I've been asked to paint it. That's it. The client has pretty much designed, did the brief, arranged for it to be 3D printed and gave it to me after attempting to paint it, and needs to be at a high enough standards to submit as an assessment. Being pretty confident at airbrushing and working with 3D printed parts, this is untreated, unsanded PLA. It's a bit tricky to get paint to stick to it, especially white. So what I've done so far is put a very heavy coat of Guy Note Silver and a few coats of Tamiya White Primer to get this luster. It's been drying for about a week. Now we're able to mask off the appropriate areas, the torso, arms, legs, and a bit of the face as well as the eyes. Spray some orange yellow, which is this, and hand paint the rest of the details. Very, very easy, almost not worth having its own video. Masked it all up. Tamiya tape for the hard edges, and the face just blue tack. Not sure if that will be a good contact, but we can always freehand and soft edge around there to reshape in the area. We will dust on multiple dry coats until we have a decent build-up. Showed it a bit of the orange by putting a light orange at the top and allowing the darker orange glow from the bottom. We'll probably use a light grey around the white once the mask has been removed. A bit of smoke won't hurt as well. Removing the mask was very successful. There was 2 orange stains which I airbrushed out. The rest came out quite nicely. You can see that the mask lines are a bit rough, though to the left it's nicely faded out. Using your airbrush will blend it all together. Painted up the face, it's neatened up, got the eyes, nose, mouth. It is a rough job. I've just been told by the client it needs to be done by tomorrow, so we're moving forward without the chance of redoing anything. A couple of mistakes have been neatened up. Need to tidy up the whites of the eyes, give it some glints or little white drops in the eyes, and we're finished. And this is the little fella done. Not my best work, but it is a rush for an assessment. Due in a few hours. Touched up the eyes, put the final clear coats on, and that's about it. If I had more time, I'd be able to properly mask out the eyes and do stencils for the nose, mouth, all that sort of thing. But it is what it is. Thank you very much for watching. As always, until next time, stay tuned for further content. Check out the description section down below for references, links, all of my social media and whatnot. Catch you later.